Welcome to The Genesis. I'm Rabbi Josh. With today's episode, we're starting something new here at the podcast. Periodically, we're going to invite artists to share their work directly with you. So today, we bring you Daniela Naomi Molnar reading 3 of her poems. Daniela is an Art Lab alum, and I interviewed her for this podcast, so you might be familiar with her name or possibly her work. I interviewed her back in season number 1, and last season, she and I hosted a conversation at Annie Bloom Books. But you might just know Daniela from her work. Daniela's debut book, Chorus, won the 2024 Oregon Book Award for poetry. And her work, Protocols and Erasure, which is an extended erasure poem composed from the protocols of the Elders of Zion, along with prose meditations on the subject, was published in 2025. It was shortlisted for the National Jewish Book Award. In addition, Daniela's work has been published and shown widely in public and in private collections here and internationally as well. You can learn more about Daniela and her work at danielamolnar.com. In this episode, Daniela will read 3 poems that have not yet been published but are forthcoming. They are The World is Full, number 145, Memory of a Larger Mind, number 2, and Kaddish, number 3. Enjoy this episode of Daniela Naomi Molnar reading her own work. Thanks for listening.
So this is The World is Full, number 145. And I think of this one as a sort of Ars Poetica, a poem that's a poem about why I write poems. The World is Full, number 145. For Gabe, for Michael and his memories, for the thirst. Every time I put a cut, flower in water, I think of my brother, 6 years old, who with absolute authority asserted that the water in a flower's vase was only decoration. A flower doesn't drink. I believed my brother, his confidence and worldliness a gift to us both. He knew things I could not, and we built a world that way. But that time I went quiet, felt the daffodil's cortex smooth in my palm, said, no, a flower drinks. A flower needs to drink to stay alive. Every time I put a cut, flower in water, I'm back inside my brother's mind, where life's staunch thirst was quelled by its non-existence. What a trick. It's a quiet prism of a moment from 40 years ago, through which my world still viewed, through which my world still skewed. I loved the earth's thirst then. I love it now. My life, a slow, capillary swill in which I've learned to speak the woven thirst, or I've tried, firmly thirsty, neck deep in the undertow. This is another one from the same in-progress manuscript. This is number 100. I'm calling in from Portland, Oregon, and a lot of my work brings me into wild spaces of the American West and the American Southwest. So this one is about a river, and I was foraging plants and rocks from the river, and I was hanging out with geologists that day, so you'll hear that in here. The World is Full, number 100. For Hell's Canyon, for the Snake River, for rivers, for rocks, for Ellen Morris Bishop, for Michael, for geologic time. If a river is a dialogue, a complicating impetus, inducing ideas, if your hand touches mine, if the river's rocks are old volcanic, if the inside of the rocks are sealed outside of time, untouched, untamed by air, light, or time, if a rock is broken and its inside touches time, if your hand touches mine, if the rock's many nows broken are one now, if your now touches mine, if the rock's soul now is open as the pivot of an eye, if your eye touches mine, if your eye then pivots to a harrier who hovers, then to the river's hyssop and its scented memory. If a complicating energy might innervate, the center is otherwise blind. If a life is only matter in dialogue with time, areola occiput I, your hand rising from the river with a whole and polished rock. I'll read one more from that collection in progress. And this is going to bring us into some more overtly Jewish poems. This is number 107 for Eden Pearlstein, for summer and its fruits, for whales, for oceans and bays, for blackberries, for blue, for Michael. Waiting for the ferry, I stain my fingertips with berries, sweet and heavy from the cove. I listen to a raven on a cedar top, flinging a watery sound, singing small water falling into larger water, drip, plop, sounding and sounding again. All time is interstitial. There is no other kind. After a sleepless night, rigid below the life-size circumference of my love for you, I call you in the morning to hear your voice, and I hear it and am calmed. You list our countertops ripening fruits, the melon's perfume, a fever inside its paper bag, the cherries rinsed and slick within their taut crimson skin, and the plums, finally local, new moon globes dark and fit for a palm. My pulse slows, my senses open, and I remember the refrain, Ayeka Hineni, Ayeka Hineni, where are you? Here I am. For many years, I knew only the answer, not the question, repeating in my mind, here I am, without knowing how or who to ask. We unlearn the war by asking. You ask about the two whales who'd breached in the ferry's wake. Astounding, I said. It seemed like they were playing, like they knew they were being loved by a boatful of eyes. Yes, you said, of course they did. Of course there's an exchange. Memory of a Larger Mind, number 2. Sitting with a glacier in the far north of North America in 2023, I have a memory of being on my grandmother's balcony in Cluj, Romania in 1936 when she was 23, yet I wasn't there. Sitting with a glacier in the far north of North America in 2023, I have no memory of being with this glacier when I was 23, yet I was here. Earlier this summer, I stood in a street in Cluj, Romania in 2023, staring at my grandmother's apartment where she had lived when she was 23 before being rammed into Auschwitz. I remember resting my hand on the curve of the black iron balcony, a cup of gold tea, soft chamomile steam, bustling square below. Now I stand by the glacial river, its swift magnificence, its insouciant menace. I was 23 when a truck, inside of which I sat, rammed into this barricade above this glacial river, backed up, then rammed into this barricade again, twice, thrice, rammed into this barricade, and my head, I am told, hit the windshield glass, once, twice, thrice, above this glacial river. The glass, I am told, smashed. I lost the means to make a memory. Why did I survive? Why did she survive? Why did she survive from her iron-rimmed balcony to a steel-barbed field of barracks, concrete slots, terrible holes, walls, bodies, barricades, a drowning air they shared? Why does she survive in this body, mine? This body in time is a rumor of an echo, of a shadow, of a fog. Upriver, the glacier drops orange and green, rocks from far and long ago, along its melting edge. It gives a memory of aerial crags and thin, bright wind to the valley who didn't live it. This particular poem is very much about sound, and what I did was I transliterated the Hebrew of the Kaddish based on listening to the sounds sort of into English. So you'll hear some of the rhythms. It's not direct, but you'll hear a bit of it. Kaddish 3. Slacken the hallow, billow the place, skull the bloom, ocean the life. Slacken the name, river the vein, slacken the billow, fluent the node, puddle or harbor or sound. Slacken the place, swell the hallow, song the source, braid the billow, slacken the name, unknot the skull, node the pith, bloom the soil, stone or mountain or spit. Slacken the other, slacken the us, slacken the I, slacken the task, slacken the air, slacken the name, billow the name, node the place, lung or storm or vent. Maybe the seed, maybe the flesh, maybe the mud, maybe the firth, maybe the mouth, maybe the moon, maybe the us, maybe the gold, maybe the ash. Slacken the words, skull the space, billow the spool, blood the wide, hum the one. Those are a bunch of the Kaddish poems are in Breaking the Glass, which I think other readers and other people on this call that I see are in this wonderful Jewish anthology. Okay, I'm going to end with a poem from Chorus, or I'm sorry, from Protocols. Chorus is my other book, which I won't read from tonight. And it's an extremely hard book to excerpt from because it's all one poem. And then there's a section, the second half of the book is essays. So I'm going to read the epilogue, which is the last poem in the poem section. So this is, as Dan said, an erasure of the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. So I didn't add any words. You'll just hear the remnants after I erased a whole bunch from this source text. Epilogue. These minutes were stealthily removed from a large symbolic serpent. My friend found them in the large symbolic serpent. The body of the serpent is made of safe facts, brutish schemes, slyness, and spiritual corruption, masquerading as history. Secret, secret serpent, you know nothing because you are nothing, but the minds of those who made you always knew that the map of power, 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 power has no apparent plan, always knew that it's a short distance from fact to a system that keeps the mask indulging fact, keeps power seeming like a super secret mode kept in strict isolation to keep its secret serpent head curving toward its own secret tail, around devour. Secret serpent, secret, secret serpent, oh, your decoy heart made by brutes, always ready to return to the low closed map they've made of you, always ready to encompass, enchain, encircle your mosaic of blind eyes, to make of you a secluded universe to screen power from apparent reach, to keep your head indivisible from your tail. In this system, a circle is a conversion. It can't move, it can't ask. So the serpent, obedient, instilled, traverses the earth, driven by the extent of its apparent purpose, its intensified reign, an unlimited lever of power. The serpent passes over its course, cleverly converting all material life, light, beasts, storms, bloodhounds, whole herds of mysteries to gold, all to gold. So now possession and order, now an army of unregenerate reason, now the useful appearance of hatred independent of fact. Now a system of power rushing with stupendous rapidity across the earth, dissensions, wars, rumors, famines, epidemics, earthquakes cannot disrupt consciously or unconsciously its very useful control. Ears to hear, eyes to see, eyes to storm, ears to chain, hands to pay, hands to prove, hands to heart, hands to eyes, hands to ears, blood to heart, blood to storm, is the form of existence, unlimited freedom, or is the form of existence, stupendous suffering, is the end the same? Certain light, certain reveal of lost form, certain unlimited freedom. Finally, bonds, belongings, time, labor, history, body, all material life forgiven. Really, really, a heart can enter history or a body as accomplished fact. It can lose count of its debts, be indebted only to its ears and its eyes, independent of any properties or leaders, independent of humanity, our quarrels, debts, and doubts. A worthy mob of consciousness lives inside material life, has its own history, its own blood. It's a secret as open as the hen, the hour, the day. The extent of nothing is the extent of now.